we had a pretty controversial couple of games in the NFL. And so this question has been raised, and it's a really good one. Now, should pass interference calls be reviewable? First, just answer the question. I believe so. But here's a couple things. So, New Orleans Saints coach Sean Payton says he hopes pass interference calls will become eligible for replay review, quote, sooner than later. A cause that the rival Atlanta Falcons would probably agree with after Sunday's loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Payton went on to say, quote, that specific call is so critical to get it right. A number of clubs in recent years have tried to discuss it, but to no avail. I think the competition committee needs to spend a lot more time thinking about it, end quote. Now, the idea of reviewing pass interference calls is, shaky to say. The competition committee has made it clear that it does not want any judgment calls to be replayed. They don't want any of that. Now, however, up in the border north of us, the Canadian Football League has been reviewing pass interference calls for the past 3 years now, and all the fans love it. Everyone loves it. They think it's great, and honestly, it's been working for them. And they had the best example of it is when in the fourth quarter of the 2015 Grey Cup, which is their Super Bowl for people that don't know, there was a bad pass interference call. It was reviewed. It was then changed. And while it might not have helped the outcome any, which I think it would, it happened in the fourth quarter. But it's been working elsewhere and not just a indoor little football league. It's the Canadian Football League. Now, the Saints were able to beat the Carolina Panthers 41-38 on Sunday despite a controversial pass interference call against safety Kenny Vaccaro in the end zone on a fourth down in the third quarter. Now, Payton said after the game that he wished he could have thrown a challenge flag, and he stood by that comment on Monday. Now, the Falcons, meanwhile, they weren't so lucky. We saw what happened. Their final offensive drive for play in the 26-24 loss to the Seattle Seahawks was a controversial no call when cornerback Richard Sherman appeared to grab the arm of receiver Julio Jones, and Falcons head coach Dan Quinn nearly just exploded. And he said he expected the competition committee to discuss making pass interference calls eligible for replay in the offseasons. Now, Jones said on Sunday that he thought it should have been pass interference, though he said he saw no reason to plead with the officials in case a situation arises again later in the season. Quote, that's not my job. If they make that call, they make the call. If they don't, they don't. That's not me to coach them up on officiating the game. The only thing I can do is go out there and do my job. It was a missed call. It's over with. It's done. We're on to the next right now. So Julio Jones is just a great example of a great player, of who you're supposed to be as a professional athlete. But at the same time, Dan Quinn had a real reason. Now, I love Seattle. I see up there. I love Seattle. I like the Seahawks. And this should have been a flag. It's clear. It's clear that this should have been a flag. And while that doesn't necessarily mean the Falcons would have won this game, it does give them an extra chance to get a game-winning field goal, most likely. I do believe pass interference calls should be reviewable. Now, there's been some stats on how much it's gone up, but at the same time, passing has been much more over the past few seasons than it has been in recent years. So that, obviously, with more passing, there's more chance of defensive pass interference, and then more chance of flags being thrown. Right now, we're on pace to have record-setting pass interference calls and amount of yards given up. Whether you want to take that with a grain of salt or not, that's up to you. I just think they should be reviewable. I don't think there should be any change in how the referees call the pass interference. I think referees do majority of the time, they do a really good job of getting that call right. They really do. And it's tough as a DB and, to not have a little bit of contact with them. And I think we should allow a little bit of contact with receivers. I mean, it shouldn't just be a free offensive game. So I think don't change anything in the calling. Don't change how we do with the whole catch rule and what determines a catch. All we should do is say, all right, refs, continue doing what you're doing, and just know that it might be reviewed, and then go from there. That's it. But that at the same time, we should still allow a little bit of contact. Don't get all upset if it's a slap to the hand right before the ball is thrown, and then that's a flag. That's where it gets ridiculous. That's where we have to draw the line. But if it's Richard Sherman holding down I guess that would have been the right arm of Julio Jones as he went up with the left. So that should have been a flag. But we'll see. I believe they should be reviewable. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any questions on it or believe it wouldn't work, go watch a few CFL games. One, they're not that bad. I love the Calgary Stampeders. That's my team. I love them. Go watch a few games. Go look at some of the articles on the Canadian Football League. They should have quick little Vine videos of how they work and what's happened with them, some of the examples, and see and just get your own opinion off of that. I believe they should be reviewable. Let me know in the comment section. Tweet me at Short Sports Show.